Madam Speaker, I rise to ask question 113 of 2017. The question is directed to the Honourable Minister for Education, Heritage and Arts. There are circumstances in which some students are compelled to drop out of schooling process. Can the Minister inform the House on what the Ministry is doing to identify these students and how is the Ministry planning to assist them? Thank you.
Honourable Minister for Education, Heritage and Arts.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Honourable Member for raising this question. This is something that we have recently discovered, and that is something that we need to now actively examine. With that, Madam Speaker, one of the main things that we have been talking about, our government has been talking about, is accessibility to education. And it is in this regard that we want to, you would have noted, Madam Speaker, I have provided statistics in the past about some of the new schools, primary schools and high schools that we've constructed, so that parents don't see accessibility as an issue. In the past, there were parents who were seeing their children had to travel quite a long distance to attend primary school, Madam Speaker, year one. And you know, sending year 6 children to 6-year-old child to go away from home and stay in boarding, that has been an issue, and in some cases had contributed to dropouts. So we were thinking that at least the primary school education should be within the comforts of their own vicinity and home. And it is this regard that we had, over the last so many years, looked at constructing primary schools as closer to where the villages are and homes are. And to the extent that we have schools where the rolls are in the interior and the deep interior Maritime, 20, 21, 22. And we haven't closed those schools because there are still children there, and we don't want to take them and put them in boarding facility. Madam Speaker, we have, since last year, closely been examining, despite all this that we have done to ensure that accessibility to education is not an issue. We've been, for example, providing transportation, providing bus fare subsidy, providing free, no tuition fee, not asking for tuition fee from children, ensuring that at least year one children do not drop out just because they can't afford to have a meal. With all this, Madam Speaker, we noted that there was some from our CAMIS system, Ministry of Education Information System database. What is the situation with regard to students dropping out? Now, from 2016 to 2017, we noted that 1,157 students dropped out. This is from our information system data, who did not move from one year to the other. From the Bakawu area, 83 students. From the Dakondrobe district, 80. Eastern, 63. Lotoka Nindi Yesawa, 214. Maduatambua, 115. Nanroga Nobosa, 81. Mosori, 181. Ra, 45. Suba, 287. So a total of 1,157 students, we noted, did not continue. So we kind of, taking into account those who go early, move off to a technical college or universities, separating that data, we still found that these students dropped out. So we decided that we note that there may be cases like lack of parental or guardian engagement to motivate the children to attend school, or there may be some family issues that probably there's a single parent and wanted the child to stay back home to look after the family, or the child losing interest in schoolwork due to some reasons, or maybe there's a special need of the child that was not accommodated. So we decided to undertake a special call and to meet them face-to-face. Funded by ICARE, the Australian Access to Quality Education Program provided us funding this year to hold face-to-face meetings with these children to see what may be the cause. Speaker, we had two meetings, one in Lautoka and one in Nendi. And I want to note that it was a very good meeting. We had about close to 100 students in both the places. And almost all of them have now volunteered to come back to school, either to high school or to a technical college. And we have made arrangements to look after their educational needs so that they can enter. We have entered the school. We are working very closely with Save the Children to provide them with the necessary resources that they need, to the extent that we have also promised them that we will provide them with uniform should they require. So, Madam Speaker, it's quite promising that we want to hold this workshop, again funded by AGAP, throughout Fiji this year, and get those children back to school. And so that we give them the basic education and skills that will provide them with a opportunity to enter the labour market and have a better life. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Rachel. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Supplementary question to the Minister. Can the Minister provide details of short courses via the campus of Technical College in Fiji? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Honourable Member for asking these questions. As alluded to earlier on, we have also encouraged these students to come and take short courses at the various campuses of our technical college that we have throughout Fiji. Madam Speaker, the short courses that we offer, which does not require any tuition fee, and short courses range from 2 to 4 weeks, are in the area of construction, such as painting, tile laying, bricklaying, engineering, cookery, bakery, patisserie, beauty therapy, agriculture, and garment production. Madam Speaker, we have found there's a huge interest amongst the children to undertake short courses. Not only children who have dropped out of the school system, but also those who left school and have been staying at home. We note that in last year itself, 2016, we had 7,190 students. 7,190 students who came and undertook short courses at our various campuses. In the Nandroga Novosa Provincial Council campus, we had 330 students who undertook short course last year. At the Rakiraki campus, we had 113 students who did short course there. At the Tangitangi campus, we had another 113 students who did short course there. At the Bua campus, we had 103 students who did short course there last year. At the Wainikoro campus, we had 51 students who did short course there. At the Nagua campus, we had 294. At the Suva campus, the textiles and hospitality campus at the Robertson Road, we had 987 students who did short course there last year. At the Nambua Sanatan campus, we had 1,229 students did short course there. At the Lambasa campus, we had 481 students who did short course there last year. At the Nasuri campus, we had 568 students who did short course. At the Lautoka campus, we had 1,024 students. And the Nendi campus, we had the largest number of students who did short course, 1,897 students, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, this again is one way of getting the students who have dropped out, encouraging them to come and undertake short course and upskill themselves into any of these trade area, and then we encourage them to enter the labour market and get a better livelihood. Because this is the way to dealing with raising the income profile rather than artificially looking at minimum wage which someone has been arguing for. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Dolakidarata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Supplementary question.
Supplementary question.
Can the Honourable Minister advise this House how many school dropouts you have in a year?
Madam Speaker, I just mentioned earlier on that we had about 1,100 dropouts that we saw who dropped out but did not come back to either technical college or any vocational program or the university programs. So we are now going around. We have done Lautoka and Nandi and encouraged them, and I think all of them have said that they will come back in term 2, or some of them will join when the next trimester starts for the technical college. And we are working with Save the Children to see how we could provide them with the resources that they require to come back. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Madam Speaker, supplementary question.
Supplementary
In terms
question.
of school dropouts, Madam Speaker, which the Honourable Minister had mentioned, 1157 students dropping out. We know that students start dropping out at year 2. So in terms of identifying these students early, what type of counselling facilities or programs are there available in the ministry to identify at-risk and high-risk students, to offer them interventions to prevent them on this downward spiral where they will drop out of school? So the early interventions at-risk and high-risk students.
Thank you. Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, Honourable Member is talking about at-risk students. Now, in a school system, if students do come forward with any particular problem, then the school do have a database of students who have some kind of issues or problem. We could assist the schools to further pursue if these students need any particular assistance. But the dropout data is obtained the following year when we see that they are not continuing. But with respect to going back to the question about at-risk student, the only database we have at the school is when there's some issues, problems, then the school do note down and keep a list of those students and do counseling and do support them. So that particular database could be collected and seen if they could need any support at the national level.
Thank you. Honourable Nawal.
When dropouts is a very big number, especially when you have free this and free that, and you can take parents into account. And the Honourable Minister had stated that he had, his ministry has consulted them. Could he advise this House what were the reasons for such a big number?
Thank you. Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, 1,157 over 226,000 students is 0.0005%, Madam Speaker. So he's saying it's a big number. It's a big number. 0.05% for him is a big number. This is the quality of lawyer we have on the other side. Madam Speaker, I just told him that we are now going around examining what is the issue and how we can bring them back. You didn't listen. You didn't listen. You didn't listen. You didn't listen to my presentation. Read the answer tomorrow.
Honourable
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just a supplementary question to the Honourable Minister. We've heard a lot of initiatives being taken in the meetings, 2 meetings that we've had. Can the Minister advise this House whether he's considering providing providing homeschooling program to these affected students and provide them with online gadgets so they can do their classroom activities from home?
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, we have got a massive infrastructure out there throughout Fiji. I mean, it's not like Australia and New Zealand where we've got 2 large islands, and all schools are there. Our schools are throughout Fiji. The reason why we've got schools right in the interior and maritime division is that we want to provide accessibility to education to children. Now, that is the infrastructure we want to use to educate these children. Now, going to homeschooling, Madam Speaker, that's the responsibility of parents to provide homeschooling. Not us, Madam Speaker, but we are trying to identify the children who may have problems. And at the moment we finish Lautoka and Nindi, we're going to do that throughout Fiji and see what the issues are and how we could support them. Support them using NGOs, using our resources to bring them back to school. Whether they are not, if they're not interested in the higher education stream, we can take them to into the technical stream.
Thank you. Honorable William Naroka.
Speaker, Madam Speaker, I continue to be intrigued by a number of factors. One, there's high unemployment. Two, we are importing a lot of basic skills. And three, what are the technical colleges producing to fill this skill gap that we are importing? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I don't know where this figure he is throwing saying high unemployment. What is high unemployment? Where's your data? Wait. No, what's the data? Madam Speaker, why don't you throw out data? What's the data? What is high unemployment? What is high? What is high? So this is, Madam Speaker, this is the problem with the other side. They don't have data. They'll start making all kinds of general comments, generalizations. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, at the technical college, Madam Speaker, at the technical college, as the Honourable Member has asked, we are providing technical education in the areas of construction, engineering, hospitality, garment. So we've got several programs in each of these mainstream areas and targeting to upskill them. And we have produced a large number of students who came out, not only a short course, but the one-year award program at the Packed Certificate 2 level in electrical, mechanical, auto, in the area of engineering, construction, carpentry and joinery, and baking and patisserie, and also garment and textiles, Madam Speaker. All of them, once they finish, quite readily they are able to get into the labour market.